It's showtime. Welcome to EVTN News, your source. Well, is it for it? I don't really talk about vegan a whole lot. He had some interviews, but some of the stuff he says is kind of like he repeats himself a lot. Anyway, welcome to the channel, and I do want to start out with a Catholic school principal being fired. So there's some context in here. So I'll just read you the whole thing. Douglas Darnowski was named principal of a Catholic school in the Diocese of Nashville, Tennessee in 2022. He was hired by the school to make it Catholic classical, which is a system whereby the Catholic faith would be incorporated into every subject. He also removed books that he thought were spiritually dangerous from the school library, including Harry Potter series and books containing pornographic passages. Douglas recalls finding LMNOP materials for second graders on a website the school used, and he said, I thought if we can find this in 2 minutes, there's other stuff in here. They're coming for your children. At a school board meeting with parents on July 17th, however, he ran into fierce opposition from a select group of families over his proposed changes. He said, I told the parents at a meeting about removing the books, and they basically said, well, it's not as bad as some of the stuff at the public school. They're going to see it eventually anyway. Douglas further explains that the parents were not happy that he was the first male principal of the school, and that he tried to hire a male teacher, or that he hired a male teacher. He also told the parents that he got rid of the website containing LMNOP materials for the more wholesome one, and to his surprise, they were infuriated. Having been told by a diocesan education official that he would get his chance, Douglas later learned that the following day, 2 more diocesan officials had a meeting with the school about his position there, wherein he believes the decision was made to fire him. He was terminated for no cause on the 19th of July. So that's interesting. This is the Diocese of Nashville, Tennessee, and instead of supporting Catholicism, they oppose it. And, you know, will there be any faith left? There is faith some places. Some Catholic schools are better than others, for sure. And it depends on the diocese as well. I'm sure that a Catholic school that's in the Archdiocese of Chicago would be probably a worse one than in the Diocese of Tyler, Texas. I mean, that just goes to say, but, you know, don't let that discourage you from Catholic schools, but you have to check it out, ask questions, find out what's really going on. And if they're not supporting the Catholic faith, then don't support the school. That's just really what it comes down to. All right. This year, the Knights of Columbus held a ladies' program. Yeah, I'm getting this from National Catholic Register. The Knights of Columbus is for men, but they held a ladies' program at its 141st Supreme Convention held in Orlando, Florida, to unite and affirm the faith of Catholic laywomen whose husbands are members of the Catholic organization. More than 500 women attended the program, which highlighted the sacrifices knights' wives make and the key role they play as women of influence. This was the second year the Knights of Columbus held a women's program at its Supreme Convention. So what sacrifices do they actually make? The executives are paid well. Very well. Do they make sacrifices when their husbands go to a meeting once a month? In the evenings on a weeknight? Is that a sacrifice? They make sacrifices when their husbands volunteer for pro-life events. Occasionally. I don't know. But it's weird. Kind of weird. All right. Moving on to Opus Dei. I believe the Knights, well, this is according to Randy Engel, who is Opus Dei conspiracy theorist, but she thinks the Knights of Columbus are closely tied to Opus Dei. She thinks everyone's tied to Opus Dei. So I recorded a video a few years ago about Opus Dei, and just a brief overview. I'm not really sure, because they don't really tell you. The people in Opus Dei don't really tell you they're in Opus Dei. Not many of them. Scott Hahn does, but it was founded by Jose Maria Escriva, who is a saint in the Novus Ordo Church, and his background is, I don't know, a little questionable. Opus Dei apparently has a lot of money. Their members, which are called the lay members, which are called numeraries, I think they pledge a significant portion of their salary, like at least 10% of their salaries, to Opus Dei, and so as a result, Opus Dei, it's like kind of a help me help you type of situation. They want their people to get, they want more money, and so they help their people get to high ranks in different places. Apparently Opus Dei controls a lot of the mainstream Catholic media, apparently, because we don't know. They have retreat houses, and it's sort of like an invitation-only type of thing. They try to recruit, but if you don't have money, then they're a little less interested. Anyway, and blind obedience. Blind obedience is a big thing with Opus Dei. Escriva once said, if the Pope were to say that contraception was okay, I would accept his decision. And now I have Francis. And Opus Dei is saying nothing. And they're getting crushed, and they're saying nothing. Francis published on August 8th, Motu Proprio, converting personal prelatures, which is what the Opus Dei is, into public clerical associations of the pontifical right with power to incarnate clerics. Opus Dei is the only personal prelature in the Church. Its distinctive feature compared to priestly societies are the so-called numeraries, which are consecrated lay people who belong to the group, as I mentioned. Now, the only personal prelature, that might be true. The SSPX functions sort of like that as well. So Opus Dei is independent of dioceses. And so is the SSPX. Of course, the Opus Dei has full canonical status. The SSPX only has partial, which is in and of itself fake. But anyway, in the future, these numeraries, these people are left out of the canonical structure. So this is new to Opus Dei. Escriva was really big on lay people doing stuff and having authority. And according to the new canons, the laity can dedicate themselves to the apostolic works of the personal prelature, but the form of this organic cooperation, the main duties and rights related to it will be conveniently determined in the statutes. Francis thus crushes the legal relationship between the laity and the clerical association Opus Dei. Francis' stab in the back comes after Opus Dei has been submissively loyal to every pope for decades. Well, and they really like JP too because he made Escriva a saint. From what I understand, you need 2 miracles to become a saint, and Escriva's miracles were confirmed by Opus Dei doctors. So, Opus Dei gets crushed for their blind obedience. And they say, thank you, Francis, for destroying our structure. Your humility is so profound. And anyway. All right. Buffalo, New York. buffalo wings. I don't know. I like buffalo wings. What's your favorite food? I like tacos, and I just had some really great hot sausage. Anyway, St. Joseph University Parish in Buffalo hosted a blasphemous LMNOP Mass on May 30th during the city's Pride Week. So that's a long time ago, but LifeSite just ran the story. The announcement of the Mass on the parish website reveals that the event was spearheaded by an LMNOPQ plus task force at the parish. Another parish, St. Catherine Drexel, had a Pride prayer service that included an actively LMNOP speaker who received a standing ovation. During the program for the Pride prayer service, participants recited an LMNOP creed. In response to many objections the diocese received over St. Joseph's first annual Pride Mass, Bishop Fisher sent a letter to all clergy of the diocese in which he defended the Mass and disparaged those who objected as persons casting judgment and failing to show charity. The previous bishop was Bishop Malone, who covered up abuse. And this bishop supports LMNOPs, so that's disgusting. And he should resign immediately. I haven't called for a bishop's resignation in a while, so Bishop Fisher should resign. If you're not going to support the Catholic faith, then you need to quit. Get out. Get out of my church. Although, is it my church? Do I really belong to the LMNOP Novus Ordo Church? I don't identify with that. All right. Jim Jordan, politician, released a letter directed to FBI Director Christopher Wray on July 25th, 2023. This is what it said. On July 25th of 23, the FBI produced a version of the Richmond document, of the spying document on the SSPX, the Richmond document with fewer redactions than the previous two versions it had produced. This new version shows that the FBI's actions were not just limited to a single field office, as you testified to the committee. The document cited reporting from an FBI Portland liaison contact with indirect access who informed on a deceased, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremist subject who had sought out a mainline Roman Catholic community, then gravitated to the SSPX. Jordan continued by noting that the newly obtained document also states that an FBI undercover employee with direct access reported on a subject who attended the SSPX-affiliated Redacted Church in Redacted, California. Oh, that's an interesting place. For over a year prior to his relocation. Have you ever been to Redacted, California? I don't know, and you don't know. Anyway, it's kind of like the Opus Dei, right? It is most concerning, Jordan exclaimed, that it appears that both the FBI Portland and FBI Los Angeles field offices were involved in or contributed to the creation of the FBI's assessment of traditional Catholics as potential domestic terrorists. Get that. If you attend an SSPX parish, you are a potential terrorist. You're an extremist. Because you believe in the Catholic faith, right? All right. And this was an interesting article. So, Pope Francis has named a random college student, Julia Osica, in the class of 2025, a physics and theology major at St. Joseph's University, and student leader of Synodality and Catholic Higher Education in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. She was a voting delegate from North America to the Ordinary General Assembly of Bishops in Rome, which takes place in October. Born in Poland, Osica is an active member of the campus ministry at St. Joseph's. She distinguished herself among her peers for commitment to the synodal process. This isn't my words. This is from the article. For her commitment to the synodal process on Hawk Hill and in two cross-campus gatherings with Philadelphia Archbishop Nelson Perez. So she's a random college student. And she's going to be a voting member at the Synod on synodality. That's how much of a joke it is. You just choose a random college student and to be a voting member. But she is committed to the synodal process. How do you demonstrate your commitment to the synodal process? Maybe she organized an LMNOP march or LMNOP prayer service. Or maybe she, I don't want to speculate, but I'm saying maybe if you want to become a synodal star, maybe you could worship a tree, or what else? Maybe encourage a woman to the vocation to the priesthood. I think that's how you become a synodal superstar. All right, let's get to the comments. And you know, the synod is only a few months away. It's in October. It's not super far away. And I feel like the news, I feel like a lot of bishops are hesitant to do anything way out of line until after the synod because they want to see what happens. I think so. So as a result, the news stories are kind of sparse. Of course, I manually filter out a lot of the news stories like, oh, I can't believe what Pope Francis said today, and I can't believe what Pope Francis said yesterday, and I don't talk about what Pope Francis said yesterday or today usually, and that's by choice. As all the FBI spies, threats, labels, persecution will never make me turn from our Lord and the beautiful traditional Latin Mass and the traditional doctrine of the Church. You'll all have to watch out at Mass over in America for Cagney and Lacey hiding underneath black laced veils taking notes. Actually, I don't think they would be wearing veils. I don't think they would participate in that kind of stuff, but all right. Theology and physics major, so she can tell them how to better nuke the church. Oh, good observation. It's probably about 6 weeks away. It's already the 14th. Yes, October 4th through the 29th. So they need an entire month to talk about how to bring in heretical ideas. All right. So, okay. And I think that's all I have for today. So, what do you guys think about the synod? Is there going to be anything heretical? I don't know. Because there's a synod, there's a 2-year synod. It's October this year and then October of next year. I don't really understand. I don't know what they expect to do for a year. I don't know. Okay. Well, let's look at the live chat. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me today on EVTN News. Until next time, we are the laity, and we will not be silent.